So these first pictures I have to show are just the blueprints and stuff like that. I didn't do anything real crazy for the blueprints, mainly because I thought I'd be able to fit an idea together. I was basically thinking, hey, if I can just scribble something out and then at least refine it a little bit and then keep going through that and look just make an estimate to how much wood I'd need. I ended up making it a bit more detailed than I actually expected to, which a project like this, it's kind of crazy. You're spending a good bit of money to piece something together. There's always the chance that something isn't going to work or something will go wrong. I actually didn't want to make it too detailed simply because I knew if I did and I had a plan all made out, then I would have screwed something up and or something wouldn't have gone right, and of course something didn't go right. I didn't take into account that 2x4s are more like 1.5 by 3.5s, so kind of useless. Yeah, this basically shows my slightly detailed model, though, of what I had. After finding or trying to figure out exactly what I needed, I went to the store, so, or Lowe's hardware store. Of course, here's a picture. I was waiting for the paint to be mixed because you have to go grab a white paint. I grabbed like a semi-gloss, I don't even know, interior, exterior paint, latex maybe it said. I grabbed what I needed to. Had it stained or dyed black, I guess, which was a bit of a process. And for the most part, I got everything I needed while that was mixing. But yeah, it was an easy process. It was alright going through the store. I always loved the smell of Lowe's. So then I got home with this stuff. That was a mess, I tell you. Driving home, I didn't take into account that a Honda Pilot cannot it can't well, it's not really reasonable to fit 11 10-foot 2x4s, one 10-foot 2x6, and an 8-foot by 4-foot sheet of plywood into the Honda Pilot. That was a bad idea, but I made it home safely. I just went a bit slower because the wood went all the way from the back of the vehicle to the front at the windshield. So that was, I don't even know, is that legal? It sounds like something that's not safe, but I took it easy. Here you have my 11 2x4s, 10-foot 2x4s, my 10-foot 2x6, the sheet of plywood, and then, kind of in the top left side there, you can kind of see the paint container and the wood glue, and maybe, yeah, you can see everything, the nails, the sandpaper, the hinges. And I forgot what that thing is that's, I think, between the glue and the paint back there. That might be the paintbrush. I can't really tell. But yeah, I got everything set up in the garage, ready for me to work with. And then, of course, you can see kind of at the right side, or on top of the glass table, are the blueprints, and in the chair you can see my kit, my toolkit. And then I got to work quickly, and it took a long time. I cut the pieces out that I knew I'd need for this project, or the lengths of the pieces. You can kind of see right there, this one says 32 inches. The ones, I think, kind of in the middle, the one below that says 24. I don't really know if you can see any of the other numbers. I can't see it, at least, because the screen's small right now. But here's the frame I have put together, or at least the base of the fish tank stand, I guess, the stabilizers, you could call them. And I had that done first because, well, I thought that would be the smartest. After building the frame, I started piecing everything else together. I still had some stuff to cut after that point, or actually quite a bit. It took me a good while to cut all the pieces and sand everything. That really was one heck of a process. I think in total in total, I'm saying from start to finish, took me about 4 days. I wish I had kept better track. I think it took me 4 days, but this was working from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. And the last night, I didn't go to sleep. I stayed up the whole night after I'd finished this part of the frame here that you can see. Well, I finished the fish tank stand other than painting it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go to bed. I'm just going to spend the rest of my night painting it and cleaning up the mess I've made, which was a bunch of sawdust and stuff from the mud. And yeah, it was a pretty big process. Then at the end of that night, I guess the sun would have been rising when I was dragging it into my room finally. And it was hard. It was a hard process. But I think I built it well. Well, I did build it well. It's now... Here, I'll just get into that in the next picture. And here we have the final product. As you can see, well painted, in the room, sitting where it's gonna sit from now on, I guess. My room still smells like paint because of it. At least a little bit. Smells like something. Smells like wood. But I set everything on it. Pretty stable. Heavy. It was hard to get into my room. And it matches everything. That's why I painted it black, because most of my furniture is. And there you go. I guess I'll get into the details of what I did with the fish tank too. So with the fish tank, I bought 2 strands of Christmas lights. One of them I put in that little top piece of the fish tank, I guess, that usually you put one of those long fluorescent, I think they are, lights in the top of the fish tank, but I took all the stuff out, the workings, and then put in a strand of Christmas lights sort of well organized about there to light up the fish tank pretty well. And it's sort of the color you put on a Christmas tree, because I went to a Christmas store to buy it. And then the other Christmas lights are just colorful ones that I strung around it. I think it just adds more color to it. One thing that's special about this is that I have a light switch in the front of my room, I guess where I enter, where you'd usually have light switches, and one of them controls an outlet on the wall. Like you can turn the outlet on and off. So all I have to do at night is click the light switch off, and all of the lights on the fish tank go off. And then of course the outlet below, the one that turns these lights on and off, doesn't do anything, so I'm not turning the filter off or anything. Everything else continues running. It's a perfect little setup. You just gotta trust me on this. My guppies approve too. This is currently the dominant male in the tank. They kind of all look the same because this is like many generations of inbreeding. But, you know, I like these fish. I can set up the tank for them, and they're pretty low maintenance little guys. And there we go. Fish tank stand, stable enough to hold fish. Guppies are satisfied. Everything's good.